If you have been making more decisions than usual but trusting them less, I want you to understand that that is not indecision. That is your internal system trying to warn you. Something in the environment shifted, and so many founders can feel this shift ever before they can articulate them. It's the quiet kind of pressure that does not announce itself but changes the way that you interpret everything. This week carried a very strange mix because there is tightening financial conditions. Buyers are hesitating in ways that were not available last month, and a new wave of AI governance pressure is forcing founders to rethink their risk boundaries. That particular cocktail does not change the external landscape, it simply rewires the founder's internal operating system. So the real question is not what changed, it is what those changes are doing to you. Most founders respond to pressure the same way that they respond to fire. They move faster, they push harder, they outrun the instability. That is instinct. But the truth is that instinct is often wrong. So, what is happening right now is not a speed problem, it is a calibration problem. Your internal expectations are still running last month's software while the environment has already patched itself. That mismatch is what is creating friction, doubt, as well as unnecessary urgency. So, this is not about doing more, it is about aligning much more better. This week's pattern is something that I have called calibration drift. Calibration drift. What is calibration drift? Calibration drift is what happens when a founder starts to make decisions using outdated assumptions in a newly tightened environment. Now, this usually happens because the external conditions are shifting faster than the founder is able to update their internal expectations. What this looks like most times is that one, decision starts to feel rushed. Two, confidence starts to thin out. Three, pressure feels misaligned. Four, small issues feel oversized. And five, clarity becomes harder to access. Now, this matters for you as a founder because calibration drift does not just create stress, it degrades your decision quality and it degrades the decisions that compound instability inside of your business. As a founder, calibration will show up in three particular places. The first one is your decision making. You start to move faster than your signal quality supports, and that is going to create a lot of rework, second guessing, as well as a sense of urgency that is not actually tied to your reality. Number two is your business mechanics because cash, hiring, client commitments, as well as AI adoption drift will start to move out of alignment. Then you start to overcommit where you should be tightening and underprepare where you should be leaning in. Number three is your founder experience because your mind starts to feel overloaded, your emotions starts to stretch thin, then your decisions that normally feel straightforward will now suddenly start to feel heavier. I need you to understand that if you are experiencing any of these three, it is not a sign of weakness, it is simply miscalibration. So I want us to interpret this week through the stability lens so that you are not going to be making decisions with outdated assumptions. The first is the signal. What changed in the environment that affects your decision this week? Customer caution rose, capital has tightened, and AI governance pressure has increased. At the same time, cyber exposure has also expanded. The second lens we are going to be looking at is the pressure. What is the environment requiring from you that you must not ignore? In fact, you must not ignore it because the environment is starting to demand precision this week, not speed. It's very important that you pay attention to precision this week, not speed. The third lens is exposure. Where are you out of alignment with the environment you have actually found yourself in this week? Pay attention to your assumptions, your commitments, as well as your decision cadence because they may no longer match your realities. Now, let's look at the fourth lever is the stability lever. That's showing what adjustment restores stability so you can start to make decisions from clarity and not from pressure. It's very important that you start to recalibrate your expectations, tighten your decision criteria, and reduce fragility before increasing any form of ambition. Now, the fifth lever is what I have called your strategic decisions. What decisions must you make this week that will align with your identity, your assumptions, as well as your environment? It's very important that you must determine whether your operating assumptions still match the environment in which you are actually in. That is the decision that you need to look at. So, the decisions that I need us to look at this week is a very simple and non negotiable one. You have to recalibrate your operating assumptions before you start to make your next major decisions. I'm talking about today, not tomorrow, not next week, but today. In fact, now, I'm going to give you a 10-minute stabilizing move. It's just 10 minutes. What I need you to do is identify the 3 decisions that is going to consume the most bandwidth for you this week. Then endeavor to circle the one that actually affects your business stability. Recalibrate your assumptions around that decision first, because you need to understand that clarity arrives quickly when you stop trying to fix everything and start aligning that one thing that truly matters. A stable founder does not eliminate pressure, they simply govern themselves inside it. And calibration is not about protection or perfection, it is about alignment. You can only become stable by adjusting your internal system as the conditions evolve. It's not by forcing the business to conform to outdated expectations. Tomorrow, I'll break down the 3 focus points that you need to focus on for the next 7 days. What you need to pay attention to, what you need to question, and also where not to overreact. This is your stabilizing signal for the week. Ensure that you stay anchored.